What if prehistoric giants still roam the earth? What if that rustle in the underbrush, that shadow above the trees, or that strange footprint in the mud wasn't a mistake but a survivor from another time? Although many species are considered extinct, mysterious sightings, legends, and unexplained traces continue to surface. In this article, we explore 7 fascinating creatures that are officially gone, but may still walk among us. Meggathereum, the giant ground sloth. Imagine a sloth, but the size of an elephant. That was the Meggathereum, a prehistoric mammal that once roamed the plains and forests of South America. These massive creatures could reach 6 meters in length and weigh over 4,000 kilograms. They were among the largest land mammals ever, and despite their slow movements, were well adapted to their environment. According to paleontologists, the Meggathereum went extinct around 10,000 years ago, likely due to a combination of climate change and early human hunting. But not everyone is convinced. In the vast and largely unexplored Amazon rainforest, stories have circulated for generations about a creature locals call the mapinguari. It is said to walk upright, topple trees, emit bone-shaking roars, and even capsize boats. The descriptions closely match what we know of the Meggathereum. Expeditions have reported unidentified footprints, broken vegetation, and eerie sounds. There is no conclusive evidence, but the rainforest remains vast and mysterious. Could this giant sloth still live, hidden deep in the green heart of South America? Terasaurs, flying reptiles from the past. Long before birds conquered the skies, pterosaurs soared above the earth, massive flying reptiles that lived between 220 and 66 million years ago. They were the first vertebrates to achieve powered flight and came in many shapes and sizes. The largest species, like Quetzalcoatlus, had wingspans over 11 meters and could weigh up to 250 kilograms. Their bodies were built for the sky: hollow bones, strong chests, long snouts, and sometimes bizarre head crests. Contrary to popular belief, pterosaurs were not dinosaurs, but a separate branch of the evolutionary tree. Some species were likely covered in a type of primitive fuzz, which may have helped with flight and temperature regulation. Although officially extinct for millions of years, mysterious sightings persist across the globe. In Papua New Guinea, locals speak of the ropin, a large flying creature with a crest on its head and a glowing tail. In the southern U.S., especially in Texas and Arizona, there are reports of large silhouettes in the sky, leathery wings, and silent attacks on livestock. Scientists typically attribute these reports to misidentified birds or bats. Still, the idea of a living pterosaur continues to spark imagination. What if a creature from the Cretaceous still glides silently above us? Moa, the forgotten giant bird of New Zealand. Until just a few centuries ago, moas roamed the forests of New Zealand, enormous, flightless birds, with some species standing up to 3.6 meters tall. These herbivores fed on leaves, fruits, and branches, using their powerful legs to move quickly through dense vegetation. They didn't even have vestigial wings. The moa simply could not fly. Their only natural predator was the mighty Haast's eagle, a raptor so large it could attack moas from the air. But the real threat came with the arrival of the Mahdi around 1300 CE. Within just a few generations, the birds were heavily hunted and lost their habitat. By the 15th century, all moa species were extinct. Still, since the 20th century, there have been occasional reports of possible moa sightings, especially in remote areas of New Zealand's South Island. Hikers and farmers claim to have seen large, fast-moving, wingless birds disappearing into the forest. There are also reports of unusually large footprints. No solid evidence has been found, but New Zealand's backcountry is vast and rarely explored. If any extinct species could have quietly survived, the moa might be the one. Mokele Mbembe, the river stopper of Central Africa. Deep in the swampy heart of the Congo Basin, local legends tell of a creature called Mokele Mbembe, meaning the one who stops the flow of rivers in Lingala. Eyewitnesses describe it as a massive reptile up to 10 meters long, with a long neck, bulky body, and thick tail closely resembling a sauropod dinosaur like the Diplodocus. The first written accounts date back to the early 20th century, when Western explorers reported mysterious stories from native tribes. Some villages identified specific lakes and swamps, such as Lake Tele, as the creature's habitat. There are even claims that Mbembe has overturned boats entering its territory. Over the decades, numerous expeditions have sought evidence, but none have returned with conclusive results. Nevertheless, sightings continue to this day, from both locals and missionaries. Scientists remain skeptical. Many suggest the reports could describe known animals like hippos or large monitor lizards. Still, the idea of a living dinosaur hidden in the impenetrable Congolese jungle remains one of cryptozoology's most captivating mysteries. Mammoth, survivor of the Ice Age? The mammoth instantly evokes images of the Ice Age, sprawling tundras, snowy plains, and massive, woolly elephant-like creatures traveling in herds. These majestic animals could grow up to 4 meters tall and weigh 10 tons. They were covered in thick fur, had a fat-rich underlayer, and carried long, curved tusks over 5 meters in length, perfect for survival in harsh climates. Most mammoths went extinct around 10,000 years ago, likely due to a combination of climate change and overhunting by humans. However, a small population survived on Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean until just 4,000 years. When the pyramids of Egypt were already standing. Thanks to Siberia's permafrost, remarkably preserved mammoth carcasses have been found, complete with skin, fur, and muscle tissue. Scientists have sequenced the mammoth's entire genome and are working on creating a mammoth-elephant hybrid through genetic engineering. The goal? Reintroduce them to the tundra to help restore Ice Age ecosystems and potentially combat permafrost thaw. Still, some believe the mammoth may never have fully disappeared. Hunters and geologists in Siberia have reported sightings of large, shaggy animals vanishing into the forest. Is it myth, mistaken identity, or a living relic still wandering the frozen north? Meggathereum, Australia's forgotten giant lizard. Long before humans set foot on Australia, a fearsome lizard prowled the land, the Meggathereum. This prehistoric predator is estimated to have reached over 6 meters in length and weighed up to 500 kilograms, making it the largest land-dwelling lizard to have ever lived. It was closely related to the modern Komodo dragon, but far more formidable. Meggathereum likely inhabited open woodlands and grasslands, hunting large prey like giant kangaroos and diprotodons. Some paleontologists believe it may have delivered venomous or bacteria-laden bites, much like today's monitor lizards. Officially, Meggathereum went extinct around 50,000 years ago, just as the first Aboriginal people arrived in Australia. Interestingly, Aboriginal legends tell of enormous lizards or snakes with legs, eerily similar to descriptions of Meggathereum. Even today, farmers and travelers in remote areas of Queensland occasionally report sightings of huge reptiles silently vanishing into the bush. Giant, unidentified tracks have also been found. No definitive proof exists, but with Australia's vast and wild interior, the possibility of a hidden apex predator can't be entirely ruled out. The Nandi bear, East Africa's night predator. In the hills and savannas of Kenya and Uganda, local legends speak of a terrifying predator, the Nandi bear. Named after the Nandi tribe, who have passed down tales for generations, the creature is described as large, muscular, and covered in thick fur. It's said to roam at night, let out chilling cries, and resemble a mix of bear, hyena, and leopard. The mystery? There are no native bear species in Africa. Yet since the early 1900s, European settlers, hunters, and explorers have reported encountering an unknown beast. Some stories involve livestock attacks, complete with deep claw marks and large, unfamiliar footprints. Some cryptozoologists believe the Nandi bear could be a surviving species of prehistoric short-faced bear, or perhaps an undiscovered giant hyena. Others suggest it may be a mutated or isolated population of a known predator. Without physical evidence, it remains speculation, but in East Africa's dense forests and mountain regions, much remains unexplored. Maybe something ancient still lurks in the night.